All right. Welcome to another edition of Hops and Houses. I'm Robert Ring.
And I'm Valerie Robbie.
And today we are at Slow Hand BBQ in Pleasant Hill, California. A great spot, a real favorite of ours.
Well, more importantly, shelter in place is over with. The restrictions have been lifted, and we're here drinking some beer and eating some brisket.
Yeah, inside. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, like old times.
I know, it's crazy.
So,
let's start with the food that we're eating, because we don't usually have food on this podcast, but we're going to start with that. So, why don't you tell them what we got?
Well, we got my two barbecue favorites, which Slow Hand does a killer job of both of these, which is why I like coming here. Their brisket is perfect. It always is. I like the hot sauce because that's me. Hotter is better. And then I got some hot links because if I'm going to have barbecue, I'm going to have hot links every single time.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
And I didn't ask questions.
Yeah, he just nodded his head and said yes.
I said, okay, yes. Let's talk about what we're drinking real quick. Obviously, this is a Hops and Houses podcast, so beer is quite central. Why don't you go first? Tell us what you've got there.
This is Brooklyn Brewery. Spaced out what it's called. It's a Shackmeister. Oh, that's right, which is why I got it. I mean, the greatest name ever. Totally. Shackmeister. It's actually real light. It's a little 4.8 pale ale. IBUs are super low. Actually, the first taste, I got a bunch of honey in it. Which,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. This is delicious.
Sweet.
Good job, Brooklyn.
So we got two beers because we were given a choice when we wanted the size. So we want a pint or the smaller pour. Well, once we looked at the smaller pour and the variety, we were like, I think we need to try more than one beer. So the one I'm starting with is the Blind Pig IPA by Russian River. I think I've had this sometime in the past. It's a 6.25% alcohol by volume. Let me give it a quick taste.
Probably your birthday when we went to Russian River.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
It's like a West Coast style IPA is what they told me. It's pretty light. It's got some nice flavors to it. A little bit sweet. Not bitter at all. It's very drinkable, especially on a hot day like this. Yeah. The weather is insane today. I don't know when they'll be watching this compared to when we're filming it, but I think we're in the...
It's 108 right now.
108. So I'm glad to be inside and drinking this.
Drinking beer.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers. We haven't done one of these in a while.
Yeah.
And of course, the reason we haven't done one of these in a while is I had both knees replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And I am back.
Yeah, you are.
Big dog is back in the yard.
I just watched her climb up and down 3 flights of stairs.
Right.
And when were you out of surgery?
Surgery was April 26th, so it's 7.5 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've gone over our beer, we can get to our second beer in a minute. Let's just...
I'm going to enjoy this one.
Yeah,
this is a
let's
nice
enjoy
beer.
this one. We'll eat some food. I'm really hungry, so why don't you talk about the market for a minute while I have some brisket?
All right. The market is kind of interesting like right now. Now, what I'm going to tell you is when you see stuff on CNN and the evening news and all of that stuff, those guys are running about 3 weeks behind on what's really happening in the market. Well, they are, consistently.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing the market is raging on fire, you know, actually, we're in a little cooling right now. And not that the prices are going down or anything like that is happening per se, but what's happening is I went from same house, same neighborhood, half a block away. One of them had 29 offers. The other one had 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that was a month apart from each other. I just got one in contract that normally we would have been fighting against 15 to 19 offers. We fought against 4. So there's less offers out there. Now, the question is, why are there less offers? Is it buyer fatigue? I don't think so, because when I open up my Facebook page, I see, you know, Bob and his family in Belize, and Bill and his family in Cabo, and Steve and his family in Hawaii.
Everybody's on vacation?
Everybody's on vacation, and I mean, everybody's on vacation.
That's the same every June, right?
Right, exactly. And it's the June swoon, number one. And number 2, I think there was so much fatigue with not being able to go anywhere, really, for such a long period of time, that people are just like, "Wah! We're out of here."
Literally everybody is going on vacation right now. I'm closing a deal today or tomorrow, and the listing agent who double-ended it is going on vacation, and the buyer called me and he's like joking with me, that she must go on a vacation every time she closes a deal because she was just finishing a vacation at the beginning of the escrow, and then she can't give them the keys at the end because she's going on another vacation, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not knocking on her. Good for her. She can go on vacation, but it's funny. Everybody's going on vacation right now. I just got back from Mexico. Where are you going next?
Well, I can't. I'm on the no-fly list until my knees straighten out, so I'm going nowhere for a little while. But of course, we just got tickets to Kenny Chesney's last concert in Gillette Field for his finally Here and Now tour. So we're a little pumped. And today was a good day for us.
And we're going to North Carolina in September, August.
I think so.
Yeah.
That one's kind of
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that was a little
I didn't know that. Now I do.
But yeah, Boston is definitely happening.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what I think is happening in the market. I don't think there's any less buyers. You know, the loans people are getting are stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, we put a jumbo in the other day that the rate on that is stupid. It is straight up stupid. They got such a great deal. So I mean,
they did get a really good deal, and they locked at the right time. They called me because there was a Fed meeting, and rates just went up in the last couple of days. They've kind of rebounded a little bit, but it was a little bit of a bloodbath in the bond market after the Feds came out yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said that inflation is going to remain around 3.8% for the rest of the year. Inflation shot up close to 5%, and so they've changed, I guess, maybe their target to where they want to keep it at. And they don't have total control over it, but they can influence inflation. And inflation's been way too low for way too long, and that causes some bad things to happen too. When there's not the right amount of inflation, I don't know what the negative effects are on the market. Somebody explained it to me one time, but there are negative effects on the market. But you want to have inflation usually around a steady 2% on an ongoing period. Well, in the beginning of the year, we were around 0.3%, and then it shoots up to almost 5%.
Right.
And now the Feds come out and say 3.8 is their target. Excuse me. Well, mortgage bonds don't like inflation. So with the anticipation of this ongoing inflation throughout the rest of the year that's been a lot higher than what we've been used to, the mortgage bond market lost a lot of steam. And so when mortgage bond prices go down, rates go up. And usually there's this kind of jawbone reaction. You know, it's a not a jawbone. What am I looking for? The word knee-jerk reaction to whatever the Fed say after their meeting, right? And so I think we lost, at the end of the day, we lost 77 basis points in the bond market, which to anybody that knows what that means, that's a lot. So it's really a lot. It moves rates by about 0.3% pretty easily. We've gained a little bit of it back today. Well, anyways, our client got in contact at the beginning of the week, and she called me and said, I know there's this Fed meeting tomorrow. I want to lock today. What do you think? And I said, I'm all for it. Go ahead. You know, when you lock, you're committed to that interest rate, right? So it doesn't matter what the market does, up or down, like you're committed to it. So let's just say she locked at the right time.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. That was a really good choice.
Yeah, and it was interesting because that's a client that told me, which is hilarious when my clients tell me things that I would normally tell them, that there were no fundamental flaws in the market that would indicate that there's a bubble.
Yeah, well, this client's like incredibly smart.
Well, she is incredibly smart. However, you know, the links here at Slow Hand
are ridiculous.
Spot on, totally on point.
Yeah,
they're the way links should be.
Yeah,
yeah, just the right amount of fat to them, the right amount of fire. And a good amount of fire. It's like no wimpy links. I hate wimpy links.
Yeah, but it's not like burning my face off.
No, but it's not. But they're legit. For sure. Legit. So, but that's one of the things we talk about is that in order for a market to crash or for there to be a bubble, there has to be a fundamental flaw. And she said to me, there's no flaws in the market. And she's right. There is currently no flaws in the market. Are houses expensive? Yes. Well, that's a function of inflation. That's not a function of a fundamental flaw in the market. So, ergo, that doesn't create a bubble.
Yeah, totally.
So
good use of the word ergo.
Ergo.
Yeah, I've never used it. I'm gonna start putting that in my vocabulary.
Well, what was the word I heard balderdash. I want to use balderdash going forward. And knackered. The two words I heard this week.
I'm just gonna practice all my new words around you so you can correct me if I use them terribly wrong.
Yeah. Somebody said they were knackered. I love that.
I don't even know what that means. Does that mean like they're hungry or they're upset? Or what?
That's an English, British term for I'm tired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Being tired.
be knackered after I finish these 2 beers.
Yeah, we're going to be knackered after this.
Yeah, we are. Okay, what was I going to say? We were going to talk about, so before the pandemic hit, before houses were going crazy the way they're going right now with all these offers on them, there was still really strong demand because in California, not enough homes are built every year to meet the amount of people that are like enter the demographic of first-time home buyer every year, and the ratio is like 6 to 1 in most areas in the Bay Area. So like for every 6 people that all of a sudden are at the age, have the job, family, etc., where they go, I'm ready to buy my first home, there's 1 new home available. So that means 1 new home that was either built or somebody left California, right? And that's a new home that can be taken over. So there's already huge demand. I mean, that's very lopsided, and it's because California has really strict building codes. So it's just been difficult to build. This has been going on for over 10 years where we've not built enough houses to keep up with demand. So housing starts have been way behind. So you couple that with low interest rates. Now people can buy, and they can spend a lot more money than they, that carbonation just hit me once. They can buy and they can spend a lot more money than they could previously because rates are so much lower. And then you've got like people not selling their homes because they're working from home, and because of COVID they don't want people coming through their home. There's just a few things that caused inventory to drop down even lower at the same time as rates being really low, and it caused this just explosion in demand. And that's why we were seeing 20 or 30 offers on 1 home. And it's not totally over, but it is, like you said, it's cooling a bit. And I think it's because people are going on vacation, because there's not like a ton more homes on the market. They are coming on the market. There are more homes coming on the market, but still, buyers, it's not the easiest thing in the world just to go out and get your offer accepted. You need to work with a really good professional and really have your offer strong. It needs to be very competitive, right? So short timelines on closing, little to no contingencies, things like this. So having a really good team behind you, like Valerie and I, like we know how to craft really good offers. In fact, this week we've gotten 2 offers accepted. Yeah. So far, and we work really hard on those offers. Like it's not easy, but we're very excited for our clients, obviously.
Well, I can tell you, just being on a listing side, some of the crap that gets slopped together and sent to me is embarrassing. And I feel bad for the client because their representation is, because I look at that and I'm like, if you slop that offer together like that, what's the rest of this transaction going to look like?
Oh, totally. It's an indication of how they're going to be in contract for sure.
Yeah, and so who represents you really does matter, especially now more than ever.
Oh, it totally does. Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting that everybody thinks that anybody can do my job, and I'm like, anybody can have a license.
That's unfortunate.
Doing my job is a different thing.
Yeah. One thing I keep hearing, and you'll see it on Instagram all the time, and all these self-proclaimed market experts will come in and say, look at where values are going, or look at demand, or how much homes are selling over asking price, and look how similar this looks to 2008. We're headed for a crash. And it's so idiotic. It's moronic, actually, because one market indicator that's similar to another market indicator does not indicate the same, it doesn't mean the same thing's about to happen.
It's not the fact pattern's not there.
No, it's not a fact pattern. It's one thing.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Like, it's like saying, that animal's on the brink of death because he was thirsty a few minutes ago, and that's what, I saw another animal on the brink of death. They were thirsty a few minutes before they died. It's like, okay, it's not a fact pattern. That's a good way to put it. I'm so irritated seeing these stupid posts about that, because just the fact that the market is hot and home prices are going really high right now doesn't mean that we're headed for a crash. That is not enough evidence to say that we're headed for a crash. There was a huge fundamental flaw in the market in 2008, and it just so happened that we were also at the peak of the market when everything crashed. But really what led to it is banks were not making money. They had sold all these mortgages, and when they looked at it, they weren't getting interest payments on the mortgages, and they couldn't sustain that. And so all of those bonds started to crash because people realized they were worthless, they were rated improperly, etc., and the whole thing fell like dominoes. If that wasn't the case, there would not have been a mortgage meltdown. Sure, we would have gone through maybe a cycle. Values could have fluctuated, gone up and down. They could have gone down after that. Demand could have changed, etc. Rates could have changed. But the entire thing collapsed because of bad mortgages that have been written for like 20 years. It was not because homes were going high over asking price. There was little inventory, and new values that were unprecedented were being set on a regular basis in neighborhoods. I mean, it's scary to people, but every time you're entering the market as a buyer or a seller, and we hear this, and so let me phrase this differently. We hear this from our clients, right? They're always afraid of the market, and usually fear just comes down to lack of information. Indecision is because of lack of education, right?
Right.
So when the market was going really hot, I've heard people say, I'm going to wait till things cool off. The market cools off. This was in 2018. People go, I'm going to wait till it hits the bottom and then I'm going to buy it. It's like, well, look, you know, you're always going to be in a market fluctuation. It's either going up or it's going down. I mean, it's rare that you can be in a market that's going like this. I mean, the market's never going just flat like that. So you have to understand why you're getting into it. What can you afford? What is a financially sound and smart decision? You know, who's in your corner is huge, right? Because it's perhaps the largest financial transaction of your life. Hiring the wrong people can really be detrimental for many reasons, but who's in your corner is really, really big. Especially right now with these super hot offers. A lot of people are going in completely non-contingent, which is fine as long as you're represented well, and that's a good decision. Like, your loan looks really good and your house is going to appraise and you've got the money to back it up. But there's so much pressure from the real estate agents right now, and I'm afraid, you know, I'm really careful with it with my buyers, because the realtor will call me and say, can we go non-contingent on this? And I'll say yes or no. I recommend a contingency for whatever reasons. But even if somebody goes in with no contingencies and they lose their job, they'll lose their good faith deposit. So there's still risk to that. But having people in your corner that can advise you properly on this, explain the risks, and then you understand all of it is a lot different than somebody who's taking you, showing you a house, and saying the only way you're going to get it is if you write non-contingent, and making you vulnerable in a situation where you don't completely understand the risks, or it might be above the threshold for risk tolerance that you should be taking on.
Well, first-time buyers should not be removing all contingencies.
I kind of agree.
You know, end of story. I've got somebody who they bought 6 or 7 houses and they wanted to remove all contingencies. Well, they know what they're looking at and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we got, I won't do it without some reports unless you are a developer. You know,
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You got to read the reports. And it's like these guys, these hacks that are throwing property out and not bothering to get inspections. And then the hack on the other side coming in and writing with no inspection contingency. And it's like, that's just a lawsuit. And it's going to be a lawsuit because somebody's hiding something somewhere.
Well, and in California, even if there's no contingencies and no reports and everything's as is, you can still go and investigate.
Right.
And if you find something new, I mean, I maybe shouldn't say this, but you can back out. And if they say we're going to keep your deposit, you can probably hire a good lawyer that'll threaten them really good and hold up that house from ever selling unless they release your money. I mean, California, the contracts in California for real estate are pretty darn good. But
they're consumer friendly as well.
you don't want to get into that situation. But
No.
I've seen it happen before. I've seen it play out where somebody had all their contingencies removed and they went through their final walkthrough and they found a couple of things that to them were major. You know, the cost to fix them wasn't major. The seller was willing to work with them. And the seller wanted to keep their earnest money, their good faith deposit. They hired a lawyer, sent me a letter, and got their money back.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a little bit of a merit to do that. I mean, the real thing behind the good faith deposit is you do your due diligence during your contingency periods. If you don't have your contingency periods, what it's protecting against is if you change your mind and you don't want to buy, then you know, you owe the seller money for damages. And there are other intricacies and reasons behind that where the seller could be owed money anyways, and sometimes it's split, etc. But having no reports is stupid. I mean, you're going to sell your most valuable asset and you're not going to have it inspected. How much does an inspection cost?
Around, let's see, I just paid for one, $450.
Okay.
For the best, two of the best inspectors.
Or somebody's going to come in, and if they have an inspection contingency, they're going to renegotiate with you. You're going to lose money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to crawl the foundation.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
Totally.
That will never happen.
Totally.
Hey, I'm on to my second beer.
I'm almost there. Do we need some more brisket?
No, I'm good. Oh, that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's a West Coast. This is the separation anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's light. It's like a, it's a 6%. That's not light. It's an IPA.
Does it taste light?
It does taste really light from Berryessa.
So it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Not too much hoppiness on it. That is really a nice beer.
Nice.
It's a good hot day beer, and it is currently, no, it's still 108.
Okay, I'll taste my other one now. This is the Tremor California by Seismic Brewing. And it is very light. I mean, super, super light. It's got a little tiny note of honey on it. It's 4.2% alcohol by volume. There's absolutely no taste of hops on it when you're drinking it. You could drink this all day long. It might even be hydrating.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to order one. Yeah, that's a good beer. I like that.
Yeah.
And I got it because one of the biggest reasons dogs end up in rescue is separation anxiety.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of it again?
Separation anxiety.
Oh, separation. Okay, nice. Right on. A little double meaning there for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has been a great episode. Do we have any other topics we want to cover while we're hanging out here?
No, I think we
nailed it.
I think we nailed it.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hops and Houses, and be sure to check out Slow Hand BBQ in Pleasant Hill, and we'll see you next time.
Get the links.